still getting the documents. What happened here is we sued for the records after we were given the proverbial hand to the face by the administration, the prior administration. Actually, we sued under the current administration, so we got the hand to the face from both administrations. And we have finally gotten records. We got 2 batches of records. The first batch we got about a month ago. They showed communications between the media and the Justice Department about the Clinton-Lynch Tarmac meeting. The media started getting word of it. They started asking the Justice Department questions. So some back and forth there. Not terribly newsworthy, other than that seemingly the Washington Post and the New York Times wasn't terribly interested in covering the story. Surprise, surprise. Looked like they were kind of forced into it. The reporters were. They were almost apologetic in the emails about even asking the questions.
Well, I did see the president at the Phoenix airport the other night. As I was landing, he was headed out. He did come over and say hello and speak to my husband and myself and talk about his grandchildren and his travels and things like that. So that was the extent of that. And no discussions were held in any cases or anything of that. And he didn't raise anything about that either.
All right, Paula, so that sounds fairly innocuous, but irregardless of that, is it disconcerting to have the Attorney General who's conducting this federal investigation, talking to Bill Clinton about this? Even if it's, there seems to be a sense of impropriety here.
Vlad, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. The most high-profile national security investigation under the Attorney General is the investigation into whether or not classified information was mishandled in connection with Hillary Clinton's server. Now, President Clinton and his foundation is also tangentially involved in that investigation, so the appearance of impropriety is just stunning. Now, this was not a scheduled meeting. He just boarded her plane. He says, according to his aides, that he just extends this courtesy to certain dignitaries. But again, this is the most high-profile national security investigation in the country. Loretta Lynch is no shrinking violet. This is a tough lady. She has stood up to El Chapo. She has taken on FIFA. She is not incapable of telling someone, look, you can't come on my plane, or look, I don't want to talk to you. The optics of this for the investigation going forward are horrible.
But secondly, we got the big batch of documents just this week, and it's really outrageous because they just show, again, the media interest here in the investigation and the Justice Department trying to figure out what the response is. And as they try to figure out what the response is, they are drafting talking points. And these talking points are really the method, that's what they use to talk about the case. So when Lynch is asked questions, when top Justice Department officials are asked questions, and yes, they're communicating with the FBI about this issue when the FBI is asked questions, they rely on these talking points. Well, the talking points are completely blacked out. You heard that right. They're blocked out. Again, they weren't blacked out by Attorney General Lynch. They weren't blacked out by James Comey. They weren't blacked out by Barack Obama. They were blacked out by the Justice Department, run by Attorney General Sessions, an appointee of President Trump.
One of the things we are doing is reviewing policies affecting media subpoenas. We respect the important role that the press plays and will give them respect, but it is not unlimited. They cannot place lives at risk with impunity. We must balance the press's role with protecting our national security and the lives of those who serve in the intelligence community.
Isn't that outrageous? And the excuse they use to black the records out, they call it, it's redaction, the legal phrase is, it's under B5, and B5 is an exemption that you can invoke under FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, which allows government agencies to withhold information. And this B5 exemption allows the government to withhold information because it's deliberative, it's pre-decisional, it's draft. And so as a result, they don't want to chill government deliberations by releasing this material for fear of people whose ideas are cast aside or seen as foolish or not acted upon. They don't feel bad about themselves. They call it, they don't want to chill government deliberations by leaking information about them. If you're skeptical of that, I share your skepticism.
All the people with the backwards attitude, pointing fingers, and that's a bad excuse for sitting on your ass when you get back.